What's up, Vybez fam? Welcome to another episode of Vybez Shortz, a conversation series. My name is Peta Vaughan. I am the host of this program and Vybez. If you've ever seen it on YouTube, there's our YouTube channel. If you're here watching it on YouTube, welcome. If you're new to the Vibe and the Tribe, welcome. Thank you so much. This series was developed or inspired around the pandemic. And I wanted to bring on different guests that have different expertise that can offer us different medicine throughout this time. And I'm so excited to welcome my lovely guest, Tyson DeLaCruz, my lovely guest and friend, good friend of mine. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to be on this series with you, or to have you here on the series so we can talk about some things. Being good friends, we've had many deep discussions about many things, and I'm so excited to have you here on the series so we can go there and talk about some things and offer the people some things. So thank you for being here. So good to have you.
Yes, thank you so much for allowing me on this platform and having these conversations with you. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, definitely. So we've been cool friends for what, a couple years?
A couple years, yeah.
I honestly don't even remember where we met. Did we meet in the Bridge program?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, somehow we just connected and we've just been rolling ever since. But yeah, I believe we met in a self-development program, Preston and Alexi's Bridge experience, and we've connected since then. And what I love about you is you're known for being a real estate guy, right? That's your jam. But you are also really good with just sharing a lot of yourself, like on social media and your life and what you're going through. And you're such an inspiration through your videos, and you're funny as hell. And so I love the way that you just share yourself with your people, and we get so much from it as well. We get to just learn along with all the things that you bring. So it's dope. I love what you do.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. So yes, could you please tell the viewers who you are, what you do, what's your deal, what's your jam?
For sure. So my name is Tyson DeLaCruz. I am the owner and visionary of Creative Home Solutions. It is a real estate investment firm. So we acquire properties, we mainly flip them, we wholesale them. We also rent these properties out to keep them in the portfolio. So that's just one of my aspects of business. I used to be a former real estate agent. Since I think 2019, I relinquished this license because I was, predominantly flipping. Mm-hmm. And that's the direction that I intended my career path to go into. Yet real estate is the vehicle to allow me to drive the roads of personal development and this thing called life. So the super dope thing about real estate, it has provided me monies and time. It's given me my time back, so I'm not exchanging time for money anymore. And from that point, I can, drive down that road of personal development in life, mm-hmm. and explore different things of myself, bettering me. And then along the process, just like you mentioned, Peter, like I take everybody with me, and throughout this whole process as well. So running the real estate investment firm, I also house individuals getting off of opiates and heroin. Mm-hmm. That's like a super fulfilling thing for me. Mm-hmm. And then I assist and I coach real estate investors and agents to level up their sales game and their business. Sprinkled on top of that is personal development, mindset, lifestyle, because what good is the monies and the things if you're not a good person or it's not fulfilling inside. So it's incredibly important for us to fulfill ourselves so we can enjoy the things that we enjoy.
Yeah. Preach.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, so tell us about real estate. Like, how did you get involved in real estate? Did you always know that was your path, or did you just stumble upon it? How did it come about for you?
I love real estate. Like I love design. I love houses. I love architecture. I love cool, like seeing cool things visually
Yeah.
because I'm an artist also. So I love to paint and draw. But real estate I was drawn to because I saw these agents, being able to walk these super cool homes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to do that. I got involved in real estate as a traditional agent. It was about 2014, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing REOs, so they're called bank-owned properties. And I knew I didn't want to be an agent in the long term. My goal was to own property because early on, I understood the value of owning property and creating compound wealth. And I stacked some money doing traditional real estate, and then I hopped into flipping real estate full time and acquiring rental properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been in love with it ever since. It's something that fills the need of design and it's incredibly rewarding, especially even just as an agent.
Yeah.
Incredibly rewarding to get people to buy their first house or experience that whole process. It's a very beautiful process because it's a very memorable process.
Yeah.
It's a very like milestone-ish type event that happens in somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to help change that or transform that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I can imagine buying a home. I don't own a home, but I can imagine that being like a whole spiritual experience, like just looking for the right property that matches you, that's in alignment to you, and then having that person take you through that experience too is also like, I feel, is a thing,
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine it being very rewarding. So
for sure.
So let's jump into COVID.
Great.
We're going to touch on a little bit about COVID and how it's affecting the real estate market. I would love for you to share more of your thoughts on that. But for now, let's talk about COVID. It's here. What's your thoughts on COVID and why it's here?
Why it's here? I don't know. I don't know exactly why it's here. But on the material space, like I don't know why it's here, right? But I understand also like why it is here. And it is a beautiful however your opinion is on this, like it is a beautiful opportunity for people to be more present with the life that they have chosen for themselves. And that life may or may not be in alignment with them anymore.
Yeah.
That job, that spouse, any of that.
Yeah.
Where they live, like how they live, like it might no longer be in alignment with them. So this time is such an amazing opportunity to stop and like look around and see like what's kind of manifested in your space.
Yeah.
When it comes to the actual virus, like, do I think that do I feel that there's a virus that can possibly infect people? Yes. Like statistically, like there's like a 0.26% chance that somebody will, die of this particular virus.
Yeah.
Did it warrant an economic shutdown for 2 months? Maybe initially because the numbers were all skewed in the beginning. Yet then, we could have opened up sooner. And I don't like it. It's been this interesting time because, when we shut down the economy for 2 months, like small businesses, are the ones that are heavily affected. I don't know what the percentage is, but I think it's like something plus 75% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And, thinking about those statistics at the time that it occurred, there was this like grand impact. Yes, it's made an impact thus far, but like there was this big grand impact because at that time I didn't know about we didn't know about the stimulus. We didn't know about this, it's been very interesting throughout this whole process because it's been this thing would happen with COVID, mm-hmm. and we'd react as a society. And then, something would come into place the next day. Like things were changing every day.
Yeah.
Oh, you get stimulus, you get PPP loans, you get SBA loans, you get all these things. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing is I feel that like small businesses are the ones that are heavily impacted.
Yeah.
On top of what's going on now.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. I feel like what stood out for me when you were saying it was you didn't feel like a shutdown for 2 months was warranted. It's been 3 months, really, 3 months of a shutdown.
Yeah.
And tell me more about that. Why do you feel that that isn't warranted? Because the whole purpose of it, in my opinion, was to keep us safe. I mean, we're still out there. We're out there. People are out there, like protesting and doing the things right now in this time. So, this is where we are now. But prior to where we are now, which is we're slowly opening back up. People are out protesting and rioting because of the George Floyd situation. But prior to all of this, what was your feeling on, or why did you feel that we shouldn't have been shut down or been in a lockdown quarantine situation?
Quarantine for as long as we were. So I do think that it was a reactionary move to close things down, mm-hmm. which is great, right? Because our goal was to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
Right? Flatten the curve, right? And the curve isn't like flattening the curve. For those of you that aren't familiar, is like it's not over a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's over a long period of time. So people aren't infected over a long period of time, mm-hmm. or they're infected over a long period of time, not a short period of time. So there's not an influx of medical places and stations that require medical assistance. So like flattening the curve is like over a long period of time. It doesn't necessarily reduce the amount of infections, but it spreads the amount of infections over a course of time.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yes, it's like it was reactionary. We didn't know what was going on. Mm-hmm. The numbers that were getting pumped out were inflated a little bit, and we didn't realize that until a couple weeks in. But then like we're already in this space, and by that time, these numbers were coming out, and I was hearing this for weeks.
Yeah.
That these numbers weren't like these numbers aren't real. These not real. Not real. They were inflated.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we just like open back up as quick as we shut down? Mm-hmm. We could have easily opened back up, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we could have opened back up sooner. It's not my place to say, right? Like,
yeah,
but it came out the way it was supposed to.
Okay. But, so like because the numbers were a little bit obscured and not for sure that, because I hear you say it, but then I hear like, but then my reaction to that is we don't know either. We could have opened back up and still been, because we don't know what's going to happen after these protests either. Like it could be no COVID happening, or it could be like, and I just read somewhere that there was an increased amount of people infected by COVID in Arizona. Like the numbers like increased all the way up, like somewhere a week ago or something like that, a few days ago.
For sure.
Because of what's happening, or because of Memorial Day weekend. I think that a lot of people was out because I was like on the road about to go to work, and there was a whole traffic in LA, like on the 405.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're not open. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, we're getting out anyway. I understand why, but you know, the way I see it, like, we don't know. Like, I would rather be safe than sorry. And we still don't know. It's still up in the air, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I totally agree with that, you know? We don't know. It's an unknown strain of COVID.
Yeah.
So, because we have strained of this before, but it's like an unknown. And, as a species, just in general, we're gonna pick up these new viruses, and new things are gonna mutate.
Yeah.
But there was this really, really deep stretch point during the quarantine process where the curve was flattening. And I think it was in Florida. Some of these small businesses work like same thing, check to check, right?
Yeah.
And there was a point where if the cases were down and somebody owns a convenience store, and I know essential workers were available to work, but if somebody owns like a pizza shop or something like that, convenience store or whatever, and they're willing to open up their business, just like the willingness to hop into business. They're willing to like wear the mask and abide by the policies and procedures that the states set up for them.
Yeah.
I don't see why they couldn't have, but people were getting arrested. People were getting arrested, and if I think back 5 years ago, when I first started my business, 24/7, like on the move, growing my business. And if something were this to happen in the middle of like growing my business, done.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like
people are now. A lot of small businesses can't open back up.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, I feel all businesses are affected.
Yeah.
Whether they were still open, the essential businesses, whether they still open, like their businesses may have even, increased,
Sure.
All businesses I feel are affected. Every single person, every single human being has been affected by this in some way, shape, or form. But it's interesting to get everyone's thoughts around it. And then that leads me to the pandemic. And how have you been dealing with the pandemic? How has it affected you and your business?
Yeah.
You personally and your business.
For sure. Thank you. Initially, like when everything started shutting down, I fear, right?
Yeah.
Fear. Scared, don't know what's going on. I'm thinking Walking Dead, like, shit's I Am Legend.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this. And I had to regroup. It took about a week. Once the virus was there, I was like, okay, I made the immediate decision to say to myself during that time, I said, if it's my time to go, if God, universe is telling me to go, because I caught this virus, then I'm gone anyways, right? And like, but in the meantime, I'm not just gonna sit here and like, like just sit here and wait.
Yeah.
So, and then I had a business to run. So, and I had some decisions to make with some real estate holdings that I had, which were pretty intense to deal with, right? Like there was a lot of emotion, a lot of like anxiety was coming up because like future thought process, right?
Yeah.
Like meditation was huge during that time. and like breathing and like honestly going for walks and bike rides and kind of just getting my head clear because I had to figure out what I had to do with all these pieces of real estate that I owned. And also like the thought of possibly losing everything.
Yeah.
You know? And then talking to people that have been through a few recessions. One of my mentors been through 3, and he owns a casino out here and a couple pieces of like development properties and commercial. And you know, he's just great guy. He's been through a lot, so I call him. I say, hey, what's your advice? What's your like? He knows what I have, and then he gave me some advice, and I sat on that. And then I made a commitment. I made a decision. And that was the most powerful thing that I could do at that time is make a decision in any type of scenario. It was like commit to the decision and like own up to that decision 100%. And I just ran with it. It might not be the right one, might not be the wrong one, but it's my decision.
Yeah.
You know, so started selling off some assets, create more liquidity, you know, and looking at stuff future tense. So yeah.
Cool. And so where are you with it now? The decision that you made, do you feel like it's panning out for you right now? Or
it is.
Or we'll see if it's going to play out later on. Like where are you at with that decision?
Yeah, for sure.
It the right one for you?
It was a good decision. It's definitely working out. And you know, I'm glad I made that decision. And intuitively, this decision actually came up before COVID even happened. You know, like it came up, but I really wasn't like stepping, like I was doing it already, but it wasn't like full throttle. Like that was my commitment anyways, you know, to sell some assets, reduce some overhead as a company. That decision started being made back in August 2019. And I went to Peru for a month, and you know, in November to December, and then came back and I completed out a lot of those things that were kind of lingering. So yeah, it's been like a blessing, and I'm super grateful that I got this intuitive hit to start doing those things back in 2019. Just with some rental properties that weren't performing like I want them to, but they had equity. So yeah, I just got rid of some stuff, and it feels good.
It's funny how you say that, because I think that's the point of why COVID's here for me, is you get to just take a look at your shit.
Yeah.
You know? Like all the things that you've been putting to the side. No, it forces us home. Like now we get to come home to ourselves and look at the things that we don't want to look at, that we've been ignoring, that we've been sweeping under the carpet. Like, you know, even like just spending time with the people that you don't want to spend time, like being stuck with them. Like you get to face these things now. So it's not like it just came back around for you and you got to look at it and now you had to make a decision about it, you know?
Yeah.
Cool. So then how do you feel? So your business is still running in this whole pandemic. Has it been more successful, less, I don't want to say less successful, but for lack of better words, like how is business doing for you within this pandemic and as far as real estate? And then I'd love for you to touch on, what do you think the future of real estate is? Should people be investing in real estate now for the future? Should they be investing in the future and not right now? Like what are your thoughts on that, being a real estate guy?
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry, hold on. I got like a cough.
Yeah.
It's not COVID though.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm glad.
Yeah. So you asked a couple questions there. One of them is, you know, how's my business been? The business has still been running like same as it always been. It's like the revenue generation of the business has been probably equal or more through this whole time. Like, probably had like way more influx of cash than like it has, like, because of I also took advantage of the loans that were available. PPP, like payroll protection, disaster relief, grant programs, things like that. And on top of the competition in the marketplace, like, decreases because nobody's doing anything. So like I picked up some rentals throughout this time. I haven't like purchased any flips because I was waiting to see what the market was going to do.
Yeah.
And here this month, I'll relook at it, and I'll look at it next month again and kind of reevaluate. I do see a really, really amazing opportunity. Like, I think this was like your second or third question, but I do see an amazing opportunity for individuals looking to get into real estate if they haven't already here in the near future.
Yeah.
Right now is a great opportunity to buy a home if you have the means to do so.
Yeah.
Because interest rates are almost at an all-time low. Interest rates are at like a 2% interest rate. There is a possibility that we will be moving into a negative interest rate marketplace.
Yeah.
So this is a great opportunity for people, that have good credit, that have some money in the bank, that want to buy a home, and that their credit is good and that they can qualify. I think it's a great opportunity for people to find their home to live in.
Yeah.
When it comes to investment opportunities, same thing. If you have all those resources available, I would say do it. If it's going to be a rental property, or it's going to be something that you're going to hold for a long time. It's going to be something that you're looking to flip right away. Definitely, like, hold off. If you've already purchased something, that's fine. Like, things are still moving.
Yeah.
But like, if you were to acquire something now in a flip, unless it's an amazing deal, 2 to 3 months from now is when, like, you will actually sell it. So there might be a significant drop, but if it's already currently on the market or almost finished, like, there's really nothing to worry about because we're at a really good, stable market at the moment.
Okay.
Who knows 6 months, a year from now,
Okay. So you feel like it's going to pick up later on because it's steady. So then do you think there will be, we don't know what the state of the economy is going to be in the next few months, 6 months or so either.
Yeah. I think that
to even sell, because when you're saying that, I'm like, well, who's buying? Like, are there people? Because based on the economy and what we're going through right now, and people without jobs, paycheck to paycheck, that whole situation, I'm just like, I don't see people buying right now. But you're saying people are out there buying.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. People are out there buying. People are out there buying. People are out there still selling properties. I'm still buying. Like I said, I bought a rental, selling the assets. People are buying those.
Okay.
There are, like the other percentage of people that aren't paycheck to paycheck that don't work in casinos here, because I'm based in Las Vegas, that don't work in the casinos, that have paying jobs, and they were, financially literate in some capacity or whatever.
Yeah.
No judgment or not playing anybody, but like, just like they still can qualify for jobs, like, or they still can qualify for homes.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing personally is that the higher priced homes are the ones that are still moving. The ones that are in a higher price bracket.
Okay.
Because those people weren't necessarily affected. There's
Right.
a big wealth gap. There's generally a big wealth gap in Western culture.
Yeah.
From like middle class to let's say like a 1%, right? And on a 1% stand-in, I think that I don't know what that number is. I know it's like I don't want to say low, but I think 1% is like earn 200,000 or something like that annually, and it's generally low speaking globally. So
okay, good to know. Because we've talked about real estate, and I've am investor in real estate, and so I was definitely curious to know what is the state of real estate right now, and your thoughts on the future of it. So it seems like it's always going to be here. It's always going to be steady, regardless of the economy, and because there's always going to be that 1% you're saying that they're going to buy. People are going to be out there buying, and
it's not just 1% of people that are purchasing, but like, there's this grade of like upper middle class that is still acquiring properties, because there are people that are selling their properties, and the interest rates are low. And if your job wasn't affected by it, I know a bunch of people that have made more money during this pandemic. I know more people that have made more money that own small businesses that have made more money during this past 2 months, like me being included, like through this pandemic.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's like, it's not about that, but since we're talking about real estate, it is. But yeah, and it's just Amazon's still kicking. There's these things that are still like shaking and moving.
Yeah, and even growing during this pandemic.
Yeah.
I feel you.
So, and when it comes to real estate, like real estate is always going to be here. Real estate is always going to be here. I don't foresee it dipping like it did back in 2008, because it's not a mortgage-based pandemic or crisis. It's not a mortgage-based crisis. It's not a mortgage-based recession.
Yeah.
Back in 2008, they were utilizing and making these shitty subprime loans, packaging them and selling them in the secondary mortgage market. That's a whole nother thing. But like, they were basically falsifying the value of these properties to beef up the books. All banks, all financial institutions. So like, that's not the case here. The case is a virus. So real estate's always going to be here. It's always going to shake and move. And especially when it comes to flips, you got a dope product, clean, it's going to sell.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I've heard this and it makes sense. Do you feel like people are going to sell more, like their homes, because of the whole COVID pandemic situation, and people's financial statuses just going down all over the place for people that lost jobs and have to just sell their homes? Do you feel like that's going to be the case? A lot of people are going to be selling their homes in the next upcoming months?
No. Yes and no, but like the mortgage institution, the lending institutions, they passed a forbearance. So what a forbearance, they passed these forbearances rules. So anybody that was impacted by COVID, the person that borrowed the money from the bank, has the mortgage, that has deed of trust, they don't have to pay their mortgage 6 to 12 months.
Wow.
And no payments, no penalties, no effect on their credit. Same thing with the renters. The renters don't have to pay. And you know, we just, so they don't have to pay. And we just inserted like $4 trillion into the market for the stimulus stuff, like the government did.
Yeah.
So I don't foresee it being an issue like 1 to 2 months down the road.
Yeah.
I do see it being an issue when stimulus runs out, when jobs are still when jobs are no longer available,
Mm.
and you're not getting an additional $600 a month for COVID on your unemployment.
Yeah.
I see that, like I said, like 6 to 12 months down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't yeah, you know, people might sell. People
Yeah.
might sell.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be selling out of because I'm going to lose the home.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get anything they're not going to make anything because, you know, prices, I don't foresee decreasing as much, but like I do see people selling homes that have equity for a very good deal.
Mm.
Like that's what I see.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I love to learn about these things because real estate is not a business that I'm very familiar with at all. So that's why I wanted to have you on here, because I was like, I know there's a lot of real estate heads that just want to know, you know, get some more information, and especially people that are interested that want to invest. So
Yeah.
It's good info. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, let's move into what's going on right now. Right. So on top of COVID, there's just shit going on everywhere. Like we just messy. The whole America is messy right now.
Yes.
I feel like the whole world's messy right now. But there's the whole Black Lives Matter movement that is on 10,000 right now.
For sure.
Based on the George Floyd murder by the
police
officers. No. And how that sparked just this whole movement and where we are now, and riots and looting and protests and all of those things. Right. I've definitely been affected as a person of color, for sure. I feel seen and heard maybe for the first time in a long time, that my people are actually seen and they hear us. And like there's a whole thing with allies and people who are not of color and who are now in support and now get to see the stories that have been plaguing Black folks for 400 years, right? So, and to just get to see and feel the pain, and I appreciate that so much. I love that the world is moving in this direction, in this whole big awareness. You know, I feel like we've ripped the Band-Aid off. Like, it's been there, but we've been covering it up, right? We've been covering it for a long fucking time.
Sure.
So this George Floyd thing, I mean, the Ahmaud Arbery, I was already like lit up from the time I saw that Ahmaud Arbery video. Mm-hmm. And I went in on this whole social media thing, and I posted some stuff on my stories because I was just feeling the pain of that. And like nobody had responded to that. Like not one person had said anything to me about it.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, George Floyd happens, and the whole world is responding to it. And I was like, yo, this has been around forever, you know?
For sure.
So yeah, part of me was just like, oh, well, where were you 2 weeks ago when that shit went down? You know, not to say that everybody was in that space of ignoring it, but you know, we get to look at it now. So I want to talk to you as my good friend and a person who is not of color.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about, what are your thoughts on this whole situation with George Floyd and the state that we're in bringing more awareness to the culture, the Black culture, mm-hmm. and our stories, and wanting to be heard and seen and supported in this? What are your thoughts on that?
For sure. So thank you for sharing that, for sure. Thank you. My thoughts are that it is incredibly unfortunate that another person had to die mm-hmm. for this to come out again, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to take this like any type of way, because this all comes from from love. And then if there's anything that like I overstep or whatever the scenario is, please like feel empowered to offer an opportunity for education on my behalf.
Right.
But it is incredibly unfortunate that somebody had to die, and that it was at the hands of a police officer. So often in this is
again, that's what I'm going to add to that. Again.
Yeah, for sure. Again, right? And so often to couple like with the police officers, so often, there's police officers that get the jobs for the right reasons and get the jobs for the wrong reasons, whether that's entitlement or power. And what I've seen too often, even in my experience, me being half Asian but having, Hispanic friends, Black friends, whatever, like me being in part of racial profiling from a police officer, and then also them abusing power.
Yeah.
And so often do they abuse power, not only in their uniform setting, but also when they're off duty.
Yeah.
On top of that, this person, George Floyd, is Black. And it is this, like, the system isn't like, it's not broken. It was just built for this. Like the mass incarcerations, the bills were passed back during like the civil rights movement, and like those haven't changed.
Yeah.
And like the police officers back then are now sheriffs. The lawyers back then are now district attorneys, are now governors, are now politicians, and it's heavily embedded in our community.
Yeah.
Like the racism in general, the like systematic like racism.
Yeah.
It's very prevalent. And I see that from a real estate perspective. And like, it's so like effed up that it takes this much to shake the tree. And like, it needs way more shaking.
What does that look like? What do you mean when you say that?
I don't know what that looks like. I know that like laws need to change, like things need to change.
Yeah.
Like not only like for that asshole, that those assholes that are doing this, and did that to George Floyd, and that do that on a consistent basis. Like where are the laws in place for that?
Yeah.
And then also like in general, like everything like needs to change. And I don't know how to change that.
Yeah.
I know like taking a stand and being united as people, as like one people, because we all come from like the same thing, same source energy, utilizing that to actually make an impact. And not allow, what I look back and like, I'm looking back at all this stuff because this is a very like hot subject.
Yeah.
Looking back at all this stuff, and I'm like, the thread is peaceful protests occur, rioting, looting occurs for people that don't have the right intentions of the general protest, the protest period.
The movement.
Riot, looting. The media now says protest gone violent. Now what happens, right? Especially in like the Black community, it's like, oh, when Black people protest, they get violent.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. And this is interesting because it's like it's embedded in all of our culture.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix it. Do I know that a change needs to occur? Like 100%.
Yeah.
100%. A change needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
How? Like some new laws have to be passed. Some people of power
Mm-hmm.
have to step up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And not be afraid to speak up. And that's what I'm seeing so like beautifully unfold.
Yeah.
You know, and not to take anything away from the actual movement, you know, but like really taking a stand for making a difference about it, you know, and not be one of those things that like happens on a movement wise, on a mass movement wise, that happens and goes away, and then we go back to normal. Like,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because I feel like I want to know from you personally, how do you feel like you are supporting this movement? Because, you know, like I've seen your socials, like, you know, you're definitely have been very supportive with your posts.
Yeah.
I'm just curious for you, and I'm talking to all people really about this, like my Black friends, my friends who are not of color, and I just want to know how what everybody's doing on their part to support this movement, because I feel like it's important to understand on an individual level how it affects you, and also what you can do to actively support if you do support it. Because like there's people out there who don't support this, you know. I just saw it the other day and it was so heartbreaking that there's a George Floyd challenge where these white teenagers were like or young adults were on the floor and like someone had their knee on their neck, on someone else's neck, and then they called it the George Floyd challenge. And I was like, really during this time you have the audacity and the nerve to start some dumbass challenge that doesn't even support the culture? It's like, or is just so in support of like Chauvin and all these police officers, basically saying that this is okay for them to do that this is right, that, you know what I mean? So I feel like on an individual level, and I have compassion for them too, because I'm like, you're idiots and you just don't fucking know. But so that's why I feel like it's important for us to have the conversations, not just for, I'm speaking about for me, but not just with my people, but with like other people that support the movement.
For sure.
So I just would love to know from you, how do you feel like you are contributing to the cause, and how do you feel like you can contribute to the cause?
For sure. And you know, that example that you were just saying with that challenge, it's disgusting, by the way. Absolutely disgusting.
It's sickening. It's so sickening.
That's an example right there of the culture, right? Like, so I've seen them. Like they're not. This doesn't. They do what they do.
Yeah.
But they're not. But they're 16, 17. They look like 16, 17 years old. The ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
Even if they're older, doesn't excuse their behavior.
No.
Yet a lot of the things that we've learned and our behavior patterns come from parents, come from the things that we know, come from external influence.
Yeah.
So there's an example to me to show the divide right there.
Yeah.
Of, you know, what have their parents taught them? You know, because this has been going on for 400 plus years.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember sitting in history class, you know, some talking about Christopher Columbus coming here, found this place. I'm like, nobody was here. Like, it's crazy, you know, like at that time, they didn't tell you what was going on. Yeah. But like, there's other things in the history books, especially when it comes to the Black community, that nobody talks about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about, or it's brushed over.
Yeah.
And it's not written.
Yeah.
No longer talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have these places in the Midwest that are very, like, they're still heavily racist.
Yeah.
Like, they're racist.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
older people, 60, 70,
Yeah.
80 years old,
Mm-hmm.
racist.
Yeah.
The
Definitely.
system,
Oh,
system, like, this isn't like one layer deep,
No.
that doesn't excuse their behavior by any means. Their behavior is disgusting,
Yeah.
and it's an opportunity for myself included to make a change, to shift, to make small shifts. If everybody makes small shifts and just aware of it,
Yeah.
aware of the racism
Yeah.
in the culture.
And so what does those small shifts look like for you? Is it more so just being aware and like educating yourself on it? Like what is that shift? Like what's your part on the shift? Like
So for me, it's also like understanding more, right? Like seeing how deep this really goes.
Yeah.
I met with my attorney. She's Black and she's a female, so she has she already has two things against her in the lawyer attorney community.
Yeah.
Because most attorneys are older white men. She's a young Black female. So speaking to her more, we're working on some things together because she really wants to exploit some of the judges here in the state of Nevada that have openly wrongfully accused or profiled. That's just one. But for me, I'm my intention is to educate.
Yeah.
Whether that's my children, my friends, and have these conversations more.
Yeah.
And then help as much as I can with, my attorney, or just looking to see if we can place more laws, and maybe even creating some type of education. This was in my mind a long time ago, like last year, but it was to bring financial literacy about real estate in the urban communities.
Yeah.
Because we have urban communities here. So that was my thing. Like, that's what I wanted to do, prior to rolling into December.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to do that, and it's not only just Black culture, but Black and Latino culture. Just educating more on financial literacy, the way that housing can make a difference.
Yeah.
Talking about credit and stuff like that. These are the things that I can contribute, because these are things that I know.
Yes.
And I'm race, creed, color, any of that doesn't matter. The heart matters to me. And it's I just want to go in these communities and share some knowledge, because I see it on a real estate level. There are areas of town that are predominantly Hispanic, predominantly Black, Asian, and they stay Black community, because we're on this topic, but they stay in the community.
Yeah.
And there's this video going on right now, which is so true. The person goes to elementary school at the school, or the grandma goes to elementary school at the school. She works at this specific place. She lives at this house.
Yeah.
She dies at that house. Then mom goes to that same school. Blah, not blah, but
yeah.
It's a repetitive cycle.
Yeah.
Then, when I get there, I meet whoever, and he's been going to the same school, and they've been living in the same house that grandma owned. And then it's they're most of the time they're lower demographic areas.
Yeah.
And it's like the school systems aren't as good.
Mm-hmm.
The equipment's not as good, which doesn't give a person an equal shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Man, thank you for the conversation. This is dope. But is there anything else that you feel like you want to at least mention that I didn't ask you about that you want to just touch on? Anything in particular? Because we're moving into the Vibing with Peta segment, and they're just like fun questions.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, you are complete. Cool. All right, so we're moving into this Vibing with Peta segment. They're just fun questions for the times. And
cool.
Yeah, it can't all be serious. We need to just have some fun too. So
great.
Yeah, they're about six to eight questions, and I'm just gonna roll them off, and you just tell me whatever comes to mind. You just let it roll off your tongue.
Got it.
All right. So first question is, who is a significant figure, whether living or dead, that you would like to have met or like to meet?
Oh. Is this a one thing answer? Oh man.
Anyone.
You know what? Right now, like the first hit, Elon Musk.
Okay.
Elon Musk, man.
And why?
Man, he's just so innovative. Dude, shooting people in space, electric cars that drive. He's like Tony Stark, man. I'd love to like hang out with him on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Seems kind of great.
Yeah.
It seems just like a good time, you know, and just to pick his brain.
Yeah.
To really see what's possible.
Mm.
You know, he's changing the way that we do cars. He's changing the way that we do renewable energy, and he's not just in it for himself.
Yeah.
And that's what's really powerful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can see it happening. I can see you kicking it.
Yeah.
You and Elon is hanging out.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What has been your favorite quarantine snack during lockdown?
Quarantine snack?
Yeah.
Yo, there's this popcorn. There's this popcorn at Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $1.99. It's almost, I don't know what it's called. It's like seasoned popcorn. I think that's what it's a seasonal flavor. It's like sweet, spicy. It reminds me of a really, really good barbecue sauce, like barbecue popcorn.
Oh. It's
fire. And it's $1.99. It's probably one of my favorite quarantine snacks.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you don't know the name of this popcorn because then I can't find it.
It's the Trader Joe's brand, like popcorn. And I think it's called seasoned, but I don't have any, or else I would grab some right now. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
In the meantime, if you find that, let us know. In the meantime, here's another fun question. Quarantine Bay, right? Who would you want to be locked up in lockdown with? Like whether it's like a celebrity or somebody like famous, somebody known, so we could just get an idea of like who you'd be into. I love this question for everybody. So who would you want to be locked down in quarantine with?
So first off, I would love to be locked up with. I gotta say, like my partner now, but I'm gonna answer your question. Because she'll probably watch this.
Okay, you still. It's just the whole fun.
Yeah. So, but locked up. Yvette Garcia comes to mind.
Okay.
She's a weather girl, what she used to be. But she doesn't really speak English. So like I couldn't really be locked up with her the whole time. You know? Like I don't know her. Like maybe she's not that cool. She doesn't speak English. I can't do nothing. You know, and then I thought of Sofia Vergara, and I was like, she don't really speak English either.
Well, she speaks English though.
Yeah, like it's broken. And what if she doesn't know how to cook? You know, these are all questions that come up. You know, like this is a really difficult question. It's actually really unfair. Because like all these factors have to come into play. You know, like you got to fill out the quarantine checklist. But my partner now, absolutely amazing.
Well,
On top of
shout out to Quarantine Bay now.
and
beats all those. She speaks English.
Yeah.
All those things. All right, cool.
But you know, Vet Garcia comes to mind. So yeah.
Okay. Final answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
If she spoke.
That was a good laugh. All right.
So, like, here's that popcorn right there.
Oh, there it is. Synergistically.
Yeah. It's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll see that. Okay. Gotta check that one out. Okay. What's your favorite book? This is a 1, 2, 3. It's a 4-part question. What is your favorite book, podcast, music, or artist, and series that you're binging to right now?
Cool. So, favorite book, all-time favorite book is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. But
is that what you're reading now? What are you reading now?
Okay. No. You want what I'm reading now?
Yeah, I want lockdown quarantine reads right now. What do you?
Okay, so right now I am in Ask and It Is Given. This second or third time I'm reading this thing.
Okay.
Great book. That's what I'm in now.
Okay. Any podcasts you're into?
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorites, 1 or 2, how many do you want? 1?
1. For the sake of time. 1.
Yeah. Alexi Panos.
Okay.
Podcast. Fire.
Yeah.
Love.
Unleashed is fire. Like she's been coming out with some
super short.
Series lately.
They're fire. I love them. Alexi Panos Unleashed.
I agree with you on that one. Music artists that you're, or musical artists that you're feeling right now.
J. Cole. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Series that you're binging to right now, if any.
I'm not, but I did watch The Tiger King.
All right. I'm not even gonna go into that one with you. I'm not even going to it. Cool.
It was crazy, but yeah, Okay. I watched. That was about the last series I watched. That was at the beginning of this quarantine.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Are there any new hobbies that you picked up in quarantine that you're currently all about?
Yeah.
Or old hobbies that you get to do more of?
Yeah, like I'm like learning how to get a green thumb. There's a plant back here.
Hey. What's that?
I have a couple more plants that I got. It's kind of cool. I talk to it. I sing to it. I have a little like jar that I wrote these affirmations where I fill up the water, and then every time I feed them, like I say these affirmations with these plants. Wow. And I see like reflecting. It's pretty cool. Like I'd like to grow some vegetables or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Nice. Can you grow vegetables in that kind of environment in Vegas?
Yeah. So we can grow like peppers and berries. Berries isn't a vegetable. Berries is a fruit.
But that can be in that. Okay.
But like peppers, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, stuff like that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's only a couple things that don't really grow here. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Last kind thing you did for somebody.
Oh. First thing that came to mind was 2 nights ago. It was a night ago. Mm-hmm. My buddy was he's just going through some stuff energetically, like he's moving some stuff, and it was just like, hey man, I feel that you're going through some stuff. Come over, and we got to like work through some stuff, like on like a healing level, on an energetic level, and it was so beautiful because he spent several hours here, and then my partner came in and she was like, hey, like let's do a Reiki session. So We did like some Reiki and some energy session on him, and it was cool. It was really, really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, how is he doing now? You all right?
He's good. He's good.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. If you had to choose, right? Granted, in this world, in this abundant world, you're doing many beautiful things, right? You do your inspirational videos, you do your real estate. I've been hearing about your emails,
Yeah.
right? So you get to do a lot of different things. The world is abundant. We get to choose. We don't have to choose one thing. But I always think this is a fun question because I just get to see where your passions lie. So if you had to choose between being an influencer and doing inspirational videos, because they're freaking hilarious. I freaking love your videos. If you had to choose between that and real estate, being a real estate guy, which one would you choose?
Content creation for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, because you do them well. So keep doing those. Go check out his videos. They're dope. They're freaking hilarious. And you'll learn a ton of shit. So,
Yeah.
Okay. And if you had, my last question for you, if you had one message to offer to the world, or a message to offer to the world, what would it be?
This life is incredibly short and so valuable. And it is also incredibly limitless. Don't let the negative constructs, don't let the negative vibes, energies deter you from your true aspirations and goals. Because they can come true, they will, and everything is just right outside your grasp.
Ooh. Yeah. Felt that one, brother. Felt that one. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Tell the people where they can find you and all of your things.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate this. This was freaking awesome. I love the questions at the end. They were super cool. If they want to hop on and check out my website, TysonDeLaCruz.com. You can sign up for the newsletter that's available. That comes out once a week. So you can check me on my website. Instagram is at Tyson DeLaCruz. And same thing with Facebook, and all the things are Tyson DeLaCruz, at Tyson DeLaCruz. Yeah, I'd love to see everybody like on the newsletter, and tag me on Instagram or get me on Instagram. That's where I pop out a lot of content as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they can check me out on YouTube too, as well, Tyson DeLaCruz.
So yes, Tyson DeLaCruz has been real. I appreciate all of you and all of this conversation and your medicine. Wow. Right? What a time. What a time.
Yeah.
Be alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm glad we get to have these conversations, and hopefully we can have more of them.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much for allowing me on this platform, Peta. Like, I truly appreciate you.
Definitely.
And, yeah. Let's rock this out, girl.
Yeah, it's an honor having you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to just have your support. Let me say that much. Thank you. And just keep doing what you're doing. You're just an amazing human being, and I'm so honored to know you. And this is dope that we get to do this. So thank you again. And we'll do it again soon.
Yes. Let's get it.
All right.
You take care.
You too.
All right. Bye.